Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
A little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erica by my side, a little bit.
Guys, welcome back, Bachelor Nation. Nick is touching my leg below the desk. Here we go. Wherever you are in the world, whoever you are, however you're watching, however you're listening, we want to say welcome back. This is your Bachelor AfterBuzz After Show. And not only do we have some returning hosts, we have a very special guest we've been trying to get on for a couple seasons because you've been on a couple seasons, but we'll get to you.
Finally available.
First, please introduce yourselves.
My name is Brooks Forrester.
Super excited to be back. I'm Cathy Kelley.
And our special guest tonight, Mr. Nicholas Viall. Can we get a round of applause?
Oh yeah, welcome in.
Nick, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me.
We've wanted to have you on for a long time. You've been busy.
Which season were you on?
Yeah, which?
All of them.
How many officially?
So many. I was on 2. Fine.
Well, yeah.
Are you gonna go for the record?
I mean,
No.
what's the we figured this out last
Bukowski
year.
is the record.
First of all,
4,
I'm not even
right?
close to the record.
thought it was 5.
Yeah,
Isn't
no,
it?
Bukowski's the
Bukowski.
record.
Bukowski is
5,
the record.
right?
Well, do you count his drunk
Amber's
stumbling?
already on 3.
Here
Becca's
we
like,
go.
Yeah.
Guys, we have a lot to talk about. This is gonna be. I wasn't sure how much drama was gonna happen. Ben seems like a pretty wholesome guy. I thought it'd be a lot of wholesome girls, and it looks like there's gonna be some good drama.
This is surprising to you.
This is not surprising to me, but there's always an element of it that surprises me every season. Something about it, I'm like, God, I didn't expect to see that coming.
It was pretty straightforward tonight.
Did anything surprise you tonight, Nick?
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Really?
It was pretty
Nick's
much
a
by the
dick.
playbook. Sorry.
Brooks, sum up tonight in one sentence, the first episode.
Basic.
That's one word.
Ben is awesome. Ben is amazing.
And a lot of girls cry.
Drama, and he finds someone in the end, and her name's Becca.
Whoa! Are you going right out of the gate with a prediction?
I think so.
Whoa.
Like I kind of last minute.
Hold on,
was like,
time out. I was looking at your notes while you were writing. You didn't write that. Did
know.
you just
No,
decide
I
this?
know.
There's a dick
Well-
on his paper.
Okay, you really want to see what I just wrote?
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
gonna show you because you asked.
Yeah.
I wrote. Which camera's on? This one right here.
Yeah.
Batch notes.
Batch notes.
This is embarrassing.
Flip
But
book.
I did
Here we
it.
go.
I just.
Sorry, Mom. Brooks, my mom watches this.
I
Mom,
know.
that's a UFO. That was actually a SpaceX.
No one can see. It was the.
It's a rocket ship.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kathy,
I didn't. Yeah. So prediction.
Yeah,
that
moving
was
on
last
from
thing.
I'm
Go
moving
ahead.
on from you. You got
Okay,
it.
good. Yeah.
Kathy, sum up
you
tonight
have
in
anything?
one sentence. As a female, you saw a lot of females get out, a lot of dresses, a lot of personalities. What did you see?
A lot of girls looking to find love. It seemed like everyone is gonna say I love you to Ben at some point if they haven't already.
Yeah, they showed what 3 different girls saying I
Yeah.
love you to Ben.
Yeah, they don't. It's interesting that they're very like open more and more every season to like even in the the season to come of what's gonna happen.
Out of all the guys, I would say he seems like the total package, and we saw all these girls are insta-stalking him already, so you kind of build up who he is in your mind and then fall in love with this idea as opposed to actually taking the time to get to know who he is.
Well, I mean, the show's always been kind of predicated on this. A lot of the girls show up halfway in love, or even the guys for that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
I don't even know him, and I'm in love with him.
Well,
so.
who are you guys? You guys were saying a couple seasons ago, and we don't have to drop names, but that you remember somebody showed up 85% in love out of the limo.
How did
was
you
Nick.
get that? How did you get that percentage?
Actually, I was like the realist.
You guys said the percent. I'm
Just
quoting
effort.
here.
Oh, really?
All right, before we move any further, I want to mention this because we are live on YouTube and we are live on AfterBuzz. You can also subscribe to the podcast. You could download the podcast, and I think last season we were in 110 countries or just under. So we love that you guys do that. Thank you so much. The whole reason we do this is for we can stop for a round of applause.
That was impressive.
Yeah. The whole reason we do
we
this
in
is for
Russia?
you guys. So let's talk about the Russian girl in a second. But I want to shout out really quick that people on the chat row here on the side of AfterBuzz can comment along with us. And there's a lot of people commenting in saying that they love Nick.
The chat roll's going crazy.
If you love Nick, raise your hand. Brooks looks average tonight. That was being repeated a lot in here. And you draw bad dicks.
But I did put makeup on. Kathy put makeup on me today.
Hey, shout out to
average.
Ellie Hahn,
You're not
who
shiny.
gave me a great compliment. Thanks, Ellie, whoever you are.
What'd she say?
She said she loves Beanie Danny. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's like your
Is
thing.
that like a Beanie Baby?
Oh.
No.
Or is that a diss?
No.
Oh. What
Unless
happened to
you
Beanie
think it
Babies,
is.
by the way?
They're still around.
All right. Well, so let's do this. Let's start at the top. Let's start with Ben Higgins before we get into the girls, because I want to talk about each girl coming out of the limo and then what we saw. So
Super
Ben,
dreamy.
yeah, tell me what you think. Is he really a dreamy guy?
I will say this, Ben. You know, I think every season the show is always gonna like pump up the Bachelor.
Yeah.
You have to have.
Mm-hmm.
But Ben
With
is. I mean, he really
steroids?
is. He really is. He's a solid guy.
Is he the most well-spoken Bachelor in recent years?
Well spoken. I think Sean was pretty good.
Sean was
But
pretty
yeah,
good.
I mean, like after you had Juan Pablo.
Good God.
I mean, and then Chris wasn't the most articulate. So,
Yeah.
That's a nice way to put it.
If it comes down to Sean or Ben,
I didn't watch Sean's season.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean,
Okay.
but I've met Sean. He's a fairly articulate.
yeah, I think I said that tonight. He was really good with
Sean's
but no,
very
I-
charismatic, and then I think that Jason Mesnick was very well spoken when he had his season. That was years and years ago.
There were
Yeah.
a couple moments in tonight's episode that I thought, again, comparing it to last season with Chris, when a girl would put Chris in a difficult situation,
He didn't know how
Chris would
to-
have that really confused look, and
I
he would
do
not.
Like the
Okay.
bubble would go ahead and you would see him thinking
It's
about
like,
the scenario.
I don't know what
Yeah.
to say. But Ben was very you know what? And just laid it out there. I was
open to communicate with
yeah,
people.
and he could articulate why.
He articulates very well.
And he was very good at in a very savvy way to I'm gonna compliment you, and then I'm gonna tell you why this is not a good idea. It was
I think he has good body language. He knew when to side hug, to step back, to touch Becca's hand, or to pull lace and look her in the eyes, or not look her in the eyes. I think he was really good with his body language.
yeah, but
That's one thing I noticed about
you
him.
could tell who I thought when we were watching, you could tell who was more into.
What's his tell? You picked up on it.
he leans in.
He leans in.
Yeah.
Which
He's
is
a- he's
it's
a
not
leaner?
it's not on a Ben tell. That's just
And that's also
Is that a guy tell?
it's a person.
In a relationship, and we've talked about this in past seasons, when you're just being yourself with that person right off the bat, you know that that's a good start, as opposed to like you were saying, he's saying the Bachelor lines.
Yeah, you could tell when he was trying to be nice to certain girls
Right.
and saying, "You look so beautiful."
He did tell every single girl that they were gorgeous or pretty,
Which
or
I
looked
think
great.
that speaks to his heart and his character of who he is.
I mean, listen, sure, but
That's also leading them on. if
Is
he's
it
not
leading them on?
interested. Yeah, I do believe that. I think that all of the girls were gorgeous.
Well, let's
but
be honest. The lead always leads most of them on.
The whole show is kind of leading him. See, here's the thing.
He has his top 5.
Is it
Already.
wrong to tell a girl
Already,
she looks
yeah.
beautiful, even if you don't know, but your first impression, oh my gosh, you look beautiful, you're being nice and warm, and then once you have the conversation, that's what's going to tell him a little more to where he's going to make his decision.
Yeah, I think that the producer, you always, the producers really want you to be open. So it's not they're hey, listen, you're gonna have human nature is that 25 people gonna walk out, and you're gonna be drawn to a handful, and they're gonna stand out.
Yeah.
And they really encourage, the leads to have that open mind, and I think they, especially early on, they really kind of hit it home, and they fight with the leads. They're no, have an open mind, and I did always hear, and you heard Sean talk about it today, that Catherine, I heard this well before I ever met Sean or talked to him, that Catherine really was late in the game for him in terms of, and I didn't watch the season, so I mean that can change, but I think usually you have people that stand out, and again that naturally I don't even maybe Ben realizes probably watching it back how natural he was with Lauren.
Sean said in interviews in the past that he thought it was Ashley Frazier until the last couple weeks.
That probably worked out best.
I mean, they're married, and
Brooks, what's your opinion on what Nick's saying and on Ben and on kind of his body language and talking to these girls?
Well, I just agree. I agree with the fact that I think Ben has good body language. His tell is that he's leaning in. I saw that with Olivia, especially.
God, we all saw
he
it with
got
Olivia.
engaged
she
with
has
her.
a spark for sure.
When
He
she
was intrigued.
Yeah.
when she walked
well,
out of the limo.
let's do
Yeah,
this.
She popped a little bit.
Also, wait, can we talk about who he got advice from, and only one out of the 3 guys is still with the person that they chose, or two. No. Jason Mesnick chose a different girl, and then
she came back.
Yeah. So he's getting advice on. He's like, oh, who should I pick at the end? And then Chris is not with Whitney anymore.
And Jason's defense, he's still married. They have like kids
married,
together,
yeah.
and you know,
it is a success story to an extent.
It took him a couple extra weeks.
Yeah.
But he knew what he was doing before.
But he got there.
Yeah. But yeah. You know.
But that's a whole nother thing too. Like the fact that Chris, we don't consider Chris a success story. I mean, Chris did end up with somebody. They didn't end up getting married, but like,
sure, that's
a lot of pressure to say like, and we understand that that's the premise of the show. But somebody else is setting this up for you, and we all already understand that like, okay, a lot of them are for the show, right?
Yeah.
So if he's got his top 5, he's got a 1 in 5 chance to find his wife, or 1 in 7, we'll say, like being conservative.
On a good season?
Like, I've dated 7 girls in my life to this point and still haven't found my wife.
Well, I mean, how many times have you gone to the bar and seen 25 pretty good-looking girls?
That's true.
Like,
Ben says he hasn't dated 25 girls in his life up to this point.
I don't know if I've dated 25 girls.
He's also only 26 years old. Like he had a really long relationship.
Can we talk about this? I feel like he is so mature for his age.
He is very mature for his age, but I think that people in the Midwest mature a lot faster than what we're used to.
When they grow up in small towns and Hoosiers.
And they shoot baskets on the side of the barn. Okay, let's talk about this. Was his town, do you think that his small town is what contributed to his big personality? Because
I mean, he was the quarterback. Like he seemed like he was always the popular kid or the good-looking kid. Like he
2-sport athlete.
Yeah.
QB on the football team.
I don't think he's out of place.
The double basketball palm.
Jordan wings.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little interested to see, and I know we'll see this later on, but what happens with his hometown, his family. His parents seem like they are very much still in love. Comes from a great family. I mean, he called his parents for goodness sakes.
That was so cute.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved seeing that. So
well, and it's funny to watch the show and it's how it's matured as well. Certain things like Ben calling 3 seasons ago, that might have been a request. Then they're like, no, we're not doing that.
And now they
morph and
it sets it up for him to be that like family
perfect
guy.
Ben.
Yeah.
I will say this about Ben though.
Yeah.
Knowing him is that he's really level-headed. And so he doesn't I think a lot of people, whether maturity is all relative. Like he could be very mature in some aspects of life and just being 26 and maybe not have a chance to experience, but he is very level-headed where, we've kept in touch and he's been through this whirlwind, but he does a really good job of just staying even keel where he doesn't get caught up. And I think you've noticed it with other leads where it's just like it really is too much for them.
So that was one of the issues, and maybe you can speak to this because you do know him, of with guys and girls in the past who have been the lead. After they're done with their season, they get so caught up in everything else, of the Dancing with the Stars and the press and the, getting sponsored by companies. And
people in chat room are already mentioning Dancing with the Stars.
Do you think that he'll be able to maintain that level-headedness, or do you think that it could potentially I know that's speculative, but
are you also creating an association that doing Dancing with the Stars is a negative?
Yeah, it's not necessarily
I
negative.
think everything's different. It's like Sean Lowe did Dancing with the Stars, and they obviously
But I think that honestly, and they've come out and they said that did create some tension. Sean said that he wishes that he had focused more time on Catherine right when they got engaged, as opposed to doing Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
I mean, in reality, and whoever Ben, let's assume he ends up with someone. Whoever he ends up with, if he immediately goes on Dancing with the Stars, he will spend infinitely more time with his dancing partner than he ever did any more time with any one of the girls.
Yeah.
And so, it's going to cost, I didn't end up with anyone in either season, but it's certainly in a lot of ways the beginning of a relationship.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
In chat, we do have a request already that next week you come back and you bring your little sister.
Yeah, people are asking, how's your little sister?
Bella's doing very well.
Yeah.
Her birthday is coming up.
So. Oh, what did you get her for her birthday?
Nothing yet. It's coming up.
What are you gonna get her for her birthday?
Super.
He can't
pressure,
spoil it.
Are you taking suggestions, guys? Tweet Nick your suggestions. What should you get Bella for her birthday?
She's doing very well though.
Good.
Yeah. I saw her over the holidays.
And how long are you in Los Angeles?
A bit.
All right. This is good news.
Is she still equally involved in your love life? It's just like, oh, Nick, what's up?
We like FaceTime all the time.
Yeah.
Like 6 minutes into any date, and like, all right, so like,
You gotta
let's
talk to
make
my
this
sister.
call.
I have to do this.
Let's just deal with this right now.
She just has a list of questions. She's like, all right. She's like an adult about it too. She's like, all right, let me ask you a couple
She
questions.
didn't draw a dick on her. Is that how she's
I
an
was
adult?
really
Keep bringing
surprised
it
as
up.
how like TV ready she was. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like,
Well, it didn't seem like
got this.
we'll talk about the girls tonight. Amanda, who we think might be the only mother so far, her kids were a little bit shy in front of the cameras.
They were.
They were young.
3
know, they are
and
young.
like 1.5 or something.
2.
3.5 and 2.
Yeah.
Super
So,
young.
and she's 25.
Two kids.
And she's like 25, two
She's
kids.
25, yeah.
She was young.
Well, let's do this. Since we're talking
Alright.
about the girls, let's break into the girls. Let's go. And then at the end, Nick, I want to talk a little bit more about you and your experiences, and you can chime in with any of that at any time. So let's do this. We're going to do the girls in chronological order, and the ones that had packages before we'll highlight as we go through. So first out of the limo, Lauren B. 25 years old, from Portland. She's a flight attendant, and she came out with like 7 puns in a row. She was also the first girl in the packages.
Yes.
One of her puns was, "I hope I land Ben's hard."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
So definitely like order of the girls matters.
Okay. So what's your impression then? If she's first out of the limo and first package, what does that say?
Not counting what else I saw with Lauren.
Yeah.
I mean, it says that she's gonna be a player.
Yeah.
Okay. Then
Regardless of what I noticed with her and Ben,
I'm gonna push it
more
further.
Like it's very rare that the person first on a limo is going home anytime soon.
I think I'm gonna force you to make a prediction. So you're gonna say top 5?
Uh-oh.
From what I saw.
Lauren?
Yeah, you said player. I'm like, okay,
I would
that
say
could.
she makes it to hometowns.
I think Lauren's gonna definitely make it to hometowns. Just
Yeah.
like seeing Ben with Lauren again. That
They're
was
so
that was
comfortable.
he was literally just chilling with Lauren. He wasn't like focusing about like you can tell like when Ben is, you know, it's almost disingenuous. I think to your point where he's just like, all right, just compliment the shit out of him. You know.
I think it's also, I mean, this is going really deep into it, but since she's a flight attendant, that has more ability to make it work because she can live in multiple locations. And
do her
one of
job.
the things that has been a problem in the past with relationships is someone lives in Seattle and the other person lives in Florida.
I honestly don't think that really matters at all. With the
Really?
Yeah, no.
A lot of people are talking about it. Danielle says Lauren B is going to make it far. Leslie says they'll go far. Maryam said she was so beautiful. People are loving Lauren B.
Yeah.
Her
She's super
dress is
cute.
gorgeous. I love the lavender.
Yeah.
She's
You
super
brought up a
cute.
good point about the dresses. There was a lot of sparkles.
So many
So many.
sparkles.
little too much sparkle for me. I'm not a
Disco
big
balls.
sparkle guy.
Well,
She
I
came
think
out in a sparkle.
It's
Unless
a
it's
smart
on your
thing
eyes.
if you
I
want
thought
to.
hers was pretty like elegantly simple.
Hers was very simple, but there were a lot of girls in full-on sparkle, like disco ball-looking dresses, and I think that that's smart to stand out. But then so many girls went that route that it ended up being
like too much. So if you
Yeah.
don't have it and do something different, like put a flower.
like maybe you
on
don't
your
want to
head.
look in that direction because there's a glare.
It was kind of looking like.
Do you think the dress really matters that much?
I don't think that the dress matters that much. I think it's how you feel in it, and if you feel
Sure.
confident,
You're
then
gonna
I
act
think it's
more
all about like
confident.
presence. That we were talking about that. Like I think with JoJo has presence.
JoJo has great
Yeah.
presence.
She kind of.
I mean, you can wear a onesie and still
That's what I'm. Yeah,
you're
I think
confident in it.
Apparently. Next girl out, Kayla. She's 24 from Hudson, Ohio. She's a software sales rep. She jumped right into his arms.
pulled herself up his arms?
And in her,
I
yeah,
like that.
she also sent her package. She's looking for Fate Part 2. She met her first guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was,
she
that
had
was
a-
kind of
that's kinda
weird though.
creepy.
She's like, I broke up with this guy that I really liked because I saw another guy that I liked on TV.
Is
And
it Fate
who-
Part
who-
2?
Like I saw the
didn't-
Notebook. I fell in love with this guy. It was amazing. And then I saw Ben. I was like, I'm gonna go on the show.
Like who didn't think when they heard that like she broke up with her boyfriend to go on the show?
Well, what did she?
100%.
She's like, I
That's
saw
what
the
you heard? That's what I
Notebook.
heard?
I broke up with my first boyfriend for Ryan Gosling. That didn't work out. So then I started dating this other guy, and then I broke up with him, and I saw Ben.
I couldn't even follow that. That's
But
like when
like
people
you,
are like
she
my
believed
cousins.
her
and aunts.
story.
Oh, she's so into
Oh,
it.
yeah.
she sold it.
She's
Yeah.
cute too.
She's very cute. We'll see.
She's okay. I don't love her.
Next out, Jennifer. She's 25 from Fort Lauderdale. She's a small business owner. What'd you guys think of Jennifer?
I just think Ben and Jen. That's
Forgettable.
pretty
Ben
good.
and
She
Jen.
did say Ben and Jen.
Ben and Jen.
Ben and Jen, but
Which one was she?
Jerry.
she was the Ben and Jen one.
Forgettable.
She was
She's-
the one black dress with it cut was like this, and then there's a little V in the middle.
She forgot her name. She's
Black.
the one on her way inside. She's like,
No,
he's
no,
like,
no.
"What's-"
No, she said
Because
Ben
she
and
said
Jen.
Ben and Jen. She goes, don't
Oh,
forget
be
Ben and
here
Jen.
week 4.
Yeah, why would I? Okay.
You don't think so?
I don't remember.
Early prediction?
Gorgeous.
All right.
I think they had good chemistry, but I think that it'll fade out into more like friendship zone.
I agree with Cathy. That's kind of what I see. Next out was Jamie. She's 23, a bartender. She's the one who said, I'm going to go on with the rumor that everybody from Canada knows each other. I actually know Caitlin. I'm from Alberta.
Oh, okay,
Jamie was beautiful.
But you tried to pull that Caitlyn-esque joke.
It's like really bad. She went PG Caitlyn.
Yeah, she was like trying to do a Caitlyn, but it's not her style.
What was her joke?
It was like, you have a really big heart. And it like gave too much of a pause, and like the timing was off. I didn't like it.
How would you do it? Do it to me the way Jamie should have done it to Ben.
With that line, I would never say that, so I would make up. I feel like Caitlyn was probably like, "You should say something like this," and she's like, "Ooh, that's good," and then that's what she did.
Right.
Well, to that point, like with Caitlyn, like that, it is Caitlyn, and Caitlyn is, for as much as like that was like people. That was kind of a crude comment. It was she made it work, and she was herself, and so a lot of people aren't themselves. And
Caitlyn could have probably pulled that line off.
She pulled it off, and the other girl, like, she was like, "Let's do something." You don't want to go too far out of your comfort zone.
The girl wearing the unicorn thing, she was so confident in it that it ended up working in a weird way.
It was JoJo.
I wanted to go back to the dress thing for a second, because I just remembered there was this psychologically, when you see someone for the first time, there are certain colors that you can wear that either make them stand out more.
What?
Apparently, for guys, they love girls in red, like in your like subconsciously when you see a girl in red, that's something. And then girls find guys in blues and purples more attractive because they feel like they're more loyal.
All the time.
But I also wanted to ask, because this is a not a topic of debate, but a lot of people wonder, girls wearing white the first time they go on dates, guys either think like, oh, wedding dress immediately, or they're kind of intimidated if they're not ready to get married. So it's either good or bad.
Why is this not a topic for debate?
What?
I want to debate it.
No, I want to hear your guys' thoughts.
I mean, I like a girl in white jeans, so.
Yeah.
That's always good. I like all black. I'm just black on black on black.
But I don't think
guys don't think about it, but it's subconscious.
I can
like
see that,
subconscious.
the logic behind it.
And also, girls.
I guess I do remember red.
Girls, when they meet other girls and the girls are wearing red at the time, feel more threatened by them.
Okay.
That I believe.
Yeah.
So tonight, who wore red?
I think there was some hot
JoJo?
pink. Oh yeah, there was
Was that
two
red
girls
or
in red.
Becca? Did Becca wear red?
No, black.
Or she was in black?
There were two girls in red because they had similar pageanty dresses.
Okay.
It was one of them went home, didn't she?
Jackie? I don't
One of
know.
the red. I can't
The
remember.
girl who was Russian wore red.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Who
so,
didn't speak a lick of English then?
So that was
I
Jamie.
thought it was really weird that we didn't see her like
She might
time. Yeah, she might have.
In the interviews, I'm sure she spoke English, and they just didn't show.
Maybe she spoke Russian and just wrote everything down in English.
She clearly speaks English. And
Subtitled. Maybe they subtitled it for her.
Or she's a Russian mail order bride, and they're like, "Oh, we didn't get enough casting submissions this
Joke's
year."
on you.
Damn.
Okay, so that was Jamie. Next out is Sam. She's 26 years old. She's from New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Her dad has ALS and passed away at 13, so they opened with this package on her.
Yeah.
It was a very sincere, sad story.
It was a sad story. How soon, and Nick, you mentioned this, how soon do you think the producers have her pull that out and tell Ben?
I don't know. I guess my hope for her is that if she does reveal it to Ben, it doesn't come at a time in which she feels as though she may be going home.
Yeah.
Because then it's
I think the
more
worst,
thirsty.
you see it every season, and usually it's like last season we saw it with a couple girls, like I think one girl who sadly her husband passed away. Actually, that happened twice last season.
We saw that with Whitney, I believe.
Last year I think it was with Julia. I think her husband committed suicide, unfortunately. And then there was the kind of off chick who had like the beautiful dead husband story that was really weird. And unfortunately they both did it in times where they weren't getting a lot of Chris time. And my hope for her is that if she does decide to open up to Ben about that, it comes at a time where she's getting close to Ben and it seems natural, as opposed to like, I need some Ben time.
She seemed very comfortable when she came out of the limo, though, in how open she was with communicating. Like, she was very confident. And she talked about passing the bar and stuff, so she seems like she already has a little bit of a connection with him.
Obviously
where
smart,
she seems like she would be able to do that in a group setting if she got some alone time with him. Or if she gets a one-on-one, she's gonna mention it.
Was there where she stood out to me was funny was when Ben.
Her voice, because it's.
Where Ben, she's got a good voice, but Ben came with the first
I find her
impression
voice
rose.
sexy.
She came. He walked through the first impression rose, and
and she was like,
and she's like, come back.
no,
but
come
she
back
said it in a way that wasn't crazy. It was just like very honest and like, no,
Yeah.
like I want that.
yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
yeah.
It was just
I kind of like that. It was
Yeah.
kind of endearing in a way. It
I have a
wasn't crazy.
follow up for you on that, Nick, too. And I guess it's partly, and I think the producers understand that if you can get people to share their vulnerabilities early on, you connect through vulnerabilities, and it's like, I'm going to do something. So I know in my experience, I had that moment where they found certain pinpoints and they would bring it up a lot. You know, the producers would continue to engage with me
But
in
then
that
they also
conversation.
stereotype you into that, which is.
True, but I will.
But did they do that to you? Were
No,
there
so-
parts that came up a lot in your conversations with producers?
So more than anything, as far as producers, and I think sometimes, and I've said this in other interviews, I think people do give producers sometimes way too much credit. I think a lot of times at the end of the day, this is a TV show and they need dialogue, right? And there's some people who clam up and aren't very articulate and don't have good dialogue. And at the end of the day, they want people to have good conversations. And I think some people are more naturally good at just, especially when two people are having chemistry.
Yeah.
Like, let's assume Lauren goes far. My guess is if Ben really likes Lauren, they'll just naturally have things to talk about.
Yeah, it's true.
And other people won't. And so I think those are the people that producers will go and be like, well, what do you want to talk about?
Well,
And they'll like give them ideas. And they're like, well, my so-and-so died. And so,
I
well,
think
let's talk about that.
They'll
and
do
unfortunately
leading
that comes
questions
up.
too.
Yeah.
Of course, like when you go into these situations, I know past contestants have said that you fill out this long list of questions, so they probably go through and they highlight things that they
This would
find
be a topic.
interesting,
This could be a topic.
and might play into
Yeah.
storyline in the show.
So they're there to make sure that dialogue happens. I can tell you that at no point was I ever told what to say.
Yeah.
I never I was just like,
You weren't even fed any producer lines of
No.
here's a cheesy line, say this one.
I mean, I'm pretty long-winded, and I was lucky enough to have legitimate feelings for both girls.
They're
so it
like,
was-
Nick, we stopped rolling cameras 10 minutes ago.
That's
Yeah, but
like-
I got more to say. Leave him.
It's like, oh my god, shut up.
The editor was pissed when he go for Nick lines. He's like, sit through this.
But I think for the people who
There's
have
a
real
line.
feelings, you don't get a lot of time. You
Yeah.
spend more time away from the lead thinking about what you want to say next. Be like, oh, I didn't get to talk about this. And so, you have so much to say.
Yeah.
And if you are more expressive, but then there's girls who have no time. And yeah, they have a lot to say, but what the producers don't want is to, be
Word
diary of
vomit.
the mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's no, what do you want to talk about? What's going to be your one thing? And then, and I'm sure there'll be some girls Ben's probably not interested. It's for example, Lacey. She's only here to add value the first 3 to 4 episodes, if that. And so she's gonna get a lot of airtime early on, and the producer's gonna get her to say some crazy ass shit.
Sure.
No, I swear.
Well, yeah, you can say
You
whatever
already
you want.
did,
Yeah.
so.
You already did.
Shit, damn hell.
Hello. Okay, so the next one out of the limo, I think there's going to be a lot to talk about. This one is Jubilee from Fort Lauderdale. She was a former military vet. She was doing sit-ups. She counted to 74 or 75, which reminded me of the Anchorman
Yes.
sketch.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
good?
yeah.
1,000.
I don't know if you heard me
That's
counting.
enough.
That's enough.
She's a
Jubilee,
boss.
from what we saw, looks like I believe the quote was, loves to get down.
Well, I mean, she's got some.
We saw the previews
Yeah.
for the
I
next
mean,
couple
she
weeks.
was she was on it.
Yeah.
She was all over him. And Cathy, you had a really good point about Jubilee. Can
Okay.
you-
She might eat Ben.
So,
Cathy noticed something awesome.
during her package, she said, I'm on a mission to win Ben's heart. All is fair in love and war. And then cut to later when Becca and Amber arrive. Jubilee is one of the first ones to say, this is so unfair.
Which is kind of amazing.
Yeah. Just cut those two clips together. It's great.
That was a good notice by you. Do you guys see potential with him and Jubilee? Because it looks like they showed a lot of clips of them too.
Yeah, at the end there was a lot. I was not expecting to see that much.
And I'll just say this: the chat roll's going nuts.
She has a nice-
I like her.
Rhoda 13, I love Jubilee. Miss Ship Sailing, yes, Jubilee. Pretty
She's
lyrics.
good looking. She has a nice figure, and she seems from the
She's
previews that
smart.
she's very
She's got a chest tat.
she's probably very sexual and good at expressing that, and that's gonna be a draw.
Heck yeah.
She'll stand out.
Okay. Thoughts, Brooks, Cathy?
Honestly, she was so confident in her packages, and we see in the previews for the next couple weeks, she seemed very confident in herself. I thought her limo entrance, when she came out, she was like, I didn't know what to say. Wasn't she the one that said, I came up with all these
oh yeah, I didn't like that. And then she like said she was good at
pickup lines. I'm really good at pickup lines.
And then it was terrible.
And then she tried one out on him, and she didn't seem that confident when she walked into the room. I was like, she's a very confident girl, so Ben threw her. She clearly likes him.
What's crazy is on the opposite side, people are saying, is she too aggressive for Ben? Tucker Conley said maybe too aggressive for Ben.
For Ben? I mean, he
doesn't seem like a guy that would
Ben's
be
not going to end
aggressive
up with her.
You don't think so?
No.
All right.
No.
Nick's giving us a for sure.
No. Next.
All right. Next.
It was interesting for him saying that he doesn't want to kiss that many girls at first, to just see a make-out montage at the end
him and Jubilee. Yeah.
Well, him and like 12 girls.
I appreciate that. That like he you give your best effort.
I really appreciate that, but then it's like it's a contradiction of I really want to get to know people before we get physical. Maybe he was just giving that line to the girls.
Let me ask you this, and what I've noticed in the past couple, like especially like, I mean the both seasons, like guys never talked about like kissing.
There was no inner talk when
it was it was like, and then we kissed. Nothing. Yeah. I have no idea. No one ever brought it up.
Did not happen on my season either.
Really?
Guys did not be like, yeah, on my date we kissed.
Never.
Totally taboo. No one talked about it.
Never happened.
Why? Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Because you're partly like, if you did get a kiss, you're assuming that the other person didn't. You know, and you don't want to be the guy that's like,
I don't want to hear it. And you don't, like,
yeah, not just that, but it's like if they didn't, like how awkward is that conversation? Like, oh yeah, and then we kissed. Oh yeah, and you're dating that girl, and we live together.
The girl,
you know, it's just like,
like
that's
guys
my question to you. Like,
gentlemen think of that.
The women on these shows, it's just like, and then we kissed. Like, oh, really? Tell me more.
Because that's a natural thing of like with your friends. Like when you go home after a date, you want to be like, oh yeah, it was so great. Like we kissed and blah blah blah. But like these friends are also dating the same guy that you're dating.
But they seem to have no problem with it.
Well,
they're like, oh
I
really?
think
That's great.
It depends on who it is. Some of the girls have expressed, and we see this in the episode, they express that they're upset when they see or hear of Ben having chemistry or, you know, getting a massage or kissing some other girl. They get upset by that. Yeah. I would get upset by that. But then there's like, Lace, who went immediately to Red Velvet. I forget her real name. Red Velvet.
Who she didn't feel threatened
by. She's like, oh, well, I kissed him right when I came out of the limo, and then we almost kissed, and then we got interrupted again.
Yeah, but
that seemed malicious a little bit.
Maybe, but I just remember, like, again, last season, like, even, like, girls, like, the top 6 or whatever, it was just all, like, play-by-play. It's like, and then we made out. Like, have you made out? We're all making out. You know, like, everyone's making out.
Like, everyone had their checkbox. Like, we're all on the same page.
Like, and who hasn't made out with Chris? Raise your hand. All right, go make out with him, girl. Like,
well, I think that might have been a running joke, too, if he just makes out with anything with a pulse.
Well, he was, like, he was throwing out his tongue like the Titanic was going down. So.
Yeah.
Wait, can you explain that? I have no... throwing his tongue down, like, what?
Throwing his tongue out like the Titanic is going down.
I've never heard that.
Like the ship's going down. It's just like...
Is this
let's kiss as many people as we can.
I've never heard that before either.
No, I just made it up. Like,
no, but it makes sense.
I mean,
like, I would, like, run to a boat, not, like, stick your
I wouldn't be like, how many people can I make out with before I drown?
Is that
Leo's going down. Let's all make out.
Leo's got the last boat.
I love how it made sense to you. You're like, yeah.
Right, I'm like, yeah, Brooks, you're an idiot. Duh.
Like, beautiful 4-piece quartet orchestra. Like, oh, it's so romantic. Let's all make out.
Yeah. Let's not waste these, like, quartet who are playing in our behalf. Let's not waste
these beautiful chandeliers.
Yeah. Before the women and children go to the safety boats, let's all make out.
Leo got the last boat.
There's the alarm. Time to make out.
I'll never let go with my tongue.
Oh, my God.
That's what I would do.
All right. Next girl out of the limo, Amanda. She's 25 from Orange County, divorced with 2 kids, Kinsley and Charlie, which are adorable. Kathy made an early prediction when we were watching. You said, I could potentially see her as the next Bachelorette.
Oh, yeah. If she is not his girl that he picks, I could see her.
She's gorgeous.
She's gorgeous. She's in better shape than most people that don't have kids. I don't understand that. Yeah. And the fact,
she seemed like for 25, she was very, very articulate. She was mature. I mean,
well,
that comes with having kids.
Yeah.
But still,
you grow up fast.
She had a presence about her. She had a quiet, strong presence to me.
you're 25, you have 2 kids, you've already been through a divorce. When did you marry this guy? That's what I'm curious about. Like,
21.
was this
2021?
2021 or 18?
She
like,
didn't say
out
that.
of
I brought
high
this up to you
school?
though. Like, she has 2 young children, and she's obviously leaving them for a period of time. Like, it would be difficult, I think, to have two young kids. You know, they did with Emily Maynard.
I'm really interested to see how that conversation goes with Ben.
Yeah, but like,
Oh, yeah.
but if she doesn't end up with Ben,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy to be like, hey, I'm just gonna go leave.
If she becomes America's sweetheart, though, and Bachelor Nation is asking for her to be the next Bachelorette, I think that
She definitely has a story.
the producers will allow her to either bring her kids and live in Los Angeles with
They'll
them,
certainly
or
accommodate,
do
yes.
it like how Emily Maynard brought it back to North Carolina, I believe it was.
Atomic 1107 is already saying Amanda is Emily Maynard 2.0.
Well, and that what's interesting too is in the limo lineup when we also had this conversation.
Yeah.
She comes out, the music, she had the most like me, love me, I'm the favorite music, which then led us to believe
Tells you to like
that
her.
like the next person out of the limo is going to be the villain, and it was Lace.
And you called it, so let's do
Right.
this.
Well,
Lace is the
wait.
next one out.
Also, I wanted to mention, if you're watching Amanda and you close your eyes, it kind of sounds like Mackenzie.
Yeah, you're so right. I want to talk about this
Voice.
comment that was just said on chat room. It said she can't be that mature if she allowed herself to have 2 kids by the age of 25.
That's really disrespectful. I'm sorry about
I
that.
don't know
And
about-
Misha came right back and said she was married though, and Aubrey came right back and said, that's uncalled for. I disagree as well.
Yeah.
She
That's
yeah.
a choice that everyone makes on their own. There's no like age
And who's to judge if someone has a kid at 21 or 16 or whatever? That's just clearly
And like
she's
sometimes
mature
like
now.
that also matures you. I mean,
Yeah.
my sister had a child at a very young age, and it's probably the
How
best thing that
old?
ever happened to her. I think 21.
And it-
like
Yeah,
she
that
grew up
is
real
young, yeah.
fast after that.
I guarantee
Yeah.
Amanda's not going around and saying, "Yeah, I regret these 2."
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Right. Okay, so let's talk about this. Then Brooks, you said this. The next one out's going to be the villain before she even walked out of the limo.
Yeah.
Limo door opens up. We haven't even seen Lace yet.
I don't think she's gonna be the villain.
Well, she was.
But you
she
guys brought
wasn't
up the idea of
villain
short-term
long-term.
villain versus
Yeah.
long-term. But so Lace comes out. She's 25, real estate agent from Colorado. She walks right up, and we actually thought this was smooth. The way she kind of did the kiss thing. She said, "Close your eyes for a second."
Well,
and
I was-
plants one on.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah? Why?
It was bold, but like it can go like it's.
It was like cute, bold.
Yeah, it was cute, but like it was like a train wreck. From
he handled it well, but I don't think that he
I don't think he
liked
wanted
it.
to, yeah.
No.
Well,
He
when
was
she
very
asked for a
he was very
second
like,
kiss,
"Whoa."
when she asked for a second kiss later when they sat down, he said yes, but never did it because I don't think he actually wanted to.
Almost everything in life is a combination of like how you do it and if the other person wants it or not, and like whether it's smooth or creepy.
I've always said,
that's the
yeah.
fine line between like romantic and creepy.
Yeah, that,
it's just
if
like
you like the person.
if
or
you
not.
like the
if
person.
someone's standing outside your door with a boombox and you like them, it's
John
romantic.
Cusack
if someone,
style.
if
Yeah.
someone standing outside your
And you
door with a
don't.
boombox and you don't,
Creepy
wow,
as
that's
hell.
a stalker. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
call
call
911.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, so I just don't think Ben was that into her. He clearly didn't want to. I mean, like.
So what I'm trying to say is The Notebook, creepiest story I've ever heard of.
I think that he would have been into her, but she kind of shot herself in the foot, showing insecurities so early on.
Lace?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. She's not the villain. She's the train wreck. She's the
Well,
emotionally.
she's
So how
a
long
little
does she-
bit of the villain because
least for now.
one of
Yeah,
the
she
first,
is.
First.
No. One of the first things that we heard from her is she's talking to Red Velvet, and she's a little bit insecure because she's wearing the same dress as Lauren,
White and blue,
And
right?
Lace goes, "Well, you're prettier than her because she doesn't
Hers
have
have
boobs."
Her small boobs,
I
yeah.
personally, and I could be wrong, I think she's going to offer some comic relief the first couple episodes. A lot of the girls would be super annoyed with her.
It was funny until she got drunk, and then it was disrespectful. And I think that all of this, though, comes from a place of insecurity, which we're going to see a lot more.
I don't think you
Right.
can really be a villain unless other people are intimidated by you.
I disagree with that.
Interesting thought because you could have, but you could be
You're saying
such a
at that
negative.
point it's a joke. She's just going to be a
I
joke.
just think the girls are gonna be annoyed with her. And
Like,
they'll talk shit about her, and like she'll say things, but I don't think she'll be like someone that people are really gonna watch
Okay,
out for.
Tiara was a villain, but she wasn't really intimidating to the other girls.
That might have been because they didn't have anybody else as well. We are
I
seeing
actually
signs of
remember that.
Olivia.
She was getting a lot of attention. I actually know who that is. That she's on Sean's season. I watched.
Tiara with the
Yeah.
sparkle tiara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, she got a decent amount of Sean time.
She did, and I think that was because Sean didn't see it. And again, with Lace, Ben's
already
already
seen
seen
it.
it.
No,
Yeah.
Ben saw the insecurities. He didn't see her talking crap about other girls.
Yeah.
I know, but he was like at the end. He's like, "I gave you a rose."
Yeah,
I was gonna say
annoyed.
she'll be gone week 4, probably week 3. She'll probably survive next week.
How so? Yeah, I was gonna ask you, how many weeks do you think she sticks
Well,
around?
I don't think Ben wants her around. I think
Like maybe 3?
it was
short-term
like
villain.
she
3?
offered entertainment and like
Do you potentially think that she could be one of those girls that in a couple weeks leaves herself because it's too much for her to handle, hoping
Maybe.
that he'll
He'll be like, no,
stay, and reassure
and then
her.
he doesn't.
No, I can see that. I think what's really interesting about Lacey is she is a wild card, and she's entertaining to watch because she clearly is comfortable enough to say kind of whatever, and maybe alcohol plays an influence.
I
but
just realized she was wearing lace.
I actually love her name. I actually love that name, Lace. I think it's a
name.
really cute name. Yeah. Allison L brought up a good point. She goes, I thought it was interesting that Lace, the villain, was hanging out and talking to Red Velvet, who seemed to be the most down-to-earth, sweet, one of the sweetest girls on the show.
Red Velvet was very down to earth.
But
But
she
bring up a
also,
good point.
Lace didn't see her as a threat or intimidating.
Yeah.
She was almost like telling her like a friend,
yeah.
oh yeah, I kissed him and it was great. Like, this is my husband. Oh, you're interested too? Well, you don't have a
Like
chance.
the fact that you cued onto
Yeah.
that so quickly, like told me worlds about like the way women see each other. I was like, I didn't pick up on that at all. And you were like,
makes
she
sense,
picked her
but I didn't
because
think about it.
Yeah.
it wasn't a threat. I'm like,
I didn't think that at all until you said that either.
were other people on the chat roll? I want to hear if like other women cued into that early. I'm just interested to see.
Yeah, I mean, people are saying, why did Red Velvet leave? I liked her. I don't know if they've cued in exactly on that point, but yeah, Red Velvet should have stayed. She seemed normal. Let's
Anyway,
talk about the next girl on the limo, Lauren R. She's 26, math teacher from Houston. She's the girl who didn't even say her name. Ben Turner was like, what's your name? And I feel
yeah.
like more
She's
should
the
have...
She's so
chicken girl?
nervous.
That's
No.
Tiara.
That's a different girl, yeah.
Tiara, right? Is her name Tiara?
But Lauren R., she was a math teacher from Houston, Texas, and she didn't say her name. She just forgot.
Forgettable.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
she
forgot
was
my
the one-
name.
No, she was the one that said she stalked him on social media.
Oh, yeah.
I remember
you
her.
like
She
to
got
fish.
eliminated. She
Yeah.
got eliminated that night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next is
Was wearing
Shoshana.
red.
Shoshana, 27,
Shush.
a mathematician from Salt Lake City, Utah.
The Russian.
Hometown.
Shoshana, was she the no?
The
she
Russian.
was-
She's Russian.
Russian. She was the
Yeah,
Russian.
she's a
She was
Russian.
also in red.
Do you think that was a dare that she had to speak Russian the whole
No,
episode?
I think it was she's bilingual and that's super hot. So
Super cool.
It's
and
up
they,
to a point, but
well,
is
I
it
think
like-
it was, she was prompted to be like, hey, well, no, it'd be really funny if you speak Russian the whole time. And she probably also didn't the entire night. She actually, I'm almost certain that when she talked to Ben, she spoke in English, which is probably part of the reason why they didn't air it.
she's a ravishing Russian.
Yeah.
You saved that one for when it was silent, didn't you? So we could all hear it.
I know a couple words in Russian.
What do you know?
Das vidanya.
What's that mean?
I don't know.
Did you wait?
I'm
Wait,
just
wait,
quoting,
wait, wait! Did you tell me? Did you get
I
this
know
off of Anastasia?
Sneg. That's snow
Oh.
in Russian.
Did you get Das Vidanya off of Anastasia?
No, I got it off of WWE.
Sure you did.
Snow?
Well, that was
Snag.
the end of the first limo, so now we're to the second limo. First one out, Leah. She was the one who
Leah.
hiked the football. Diggy Higgy hiked the football.
You know,
I
It was
like her.
awkward at first, but I think he really
I
appreciated
think he
it at
appreciated it
the
too. And then they
end.
went back outside. He had his jacket off and he was throwing the ball.
Was it a
Nikki?
smart play to
Nick?
show her butt off?
I thought the football thing was cute at first, and then when she like got on the like
Bend over
I was
style?
like,
Yeah.
Had to like
no.
lift up all her lace. You weren't feeling
Well, whether or not her limo was awesome, I liked her through the rest. I just remember writing a note like, yeah, I like her. I think she could be a player as well.
Yeah. Also to James, if we could get even like a couple more than 10 minutes, we have so many people to still go through. It's always the longest night is the first one.
The next one is Joelle. They go by JoJo. She's 24 from Dallas into real estate. She came out with a unicorn head out of the limo.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was.
I thought it was
fine.
creepy at first, and then she was
She
so
owned
confident
it,
with it
yeah.
that it worked.
And she clearly goes far.
And
she loves Ben.
Yeah,
it was
I
very
like
cute.
her.
Later in the night, she had flashcards so that he would remember what it was. It was
I was
like a
surprised he
game
got
of
house flipping. He's probably
flipper,
really good
yeah.
at heads up. He's probably real good
I
at
wonder if that
that.
was her idea.
House flipping.
It might have been.
I thought it was like pediatrician. I forgot what her job
She's
was.
smart and she has
How's
Like a
presence.
kid falls off a roof.
Oh,
I help him.
yeah.
Get healthy again. Anyways, next up, Lauren H., 25 from Ann Arbor. She's a kindergarten teacher. I thought she was adorable.
I don't remember
Who
her.
are we on?
Lauren H.,
Don't remember.
her Ann Arbor kindergarten teacher. I thought she was so cute. I think she could be a little bit of a sleeper that sticks around for a while. Just saying. Just putting that out there. Next up, Laura, another L name. My goodness.
This is Red
She's
Velvet.
24, account executive from Kentucky, Red Velvet.
I liked her.
I liked her.
Should have brought cupcakes.
Is that what you would do, Kathy? Cupcake cake?
Chris
Yeah.
already did that. Cupcake Chris. So she was
Oh no, he was in a cupcake.
He was
I
in
would
a cupcake.
Bake
She would
cupcakes,
bake them. Would you do your
or
maple
cookies.
bacon or your fireball bacon ones?
I would find out what they liked. I would stalk them on social media.
Yeah,
No,
you
I'm
would.
kidding.
Of course you
That would have been
Um,
awkward if she would have wore the red velvet on top of her head,
Yeah.
because then there would have been the rose on
I would make an
Mandy.
array of cupcakes, and then I would bake an engagement ring into one of the cupcakes and be like, "Oh, you can give this to me." Oh, okay,
Super
that's
creepy.
Really fucking creepy.
All right.
Oops.
We're almost after midnight, and then you can say all the words you want. All right,
I'm
next
so
up
tired.
was Mandy. We saw a package from Mandy. She had the coolest audition video ever.
Oh, I
I'll let
love
Kathy
her.
tell
I
us.
love her.
Oh yeah, we didn't even cue up this
She was the
video.
one with the rose on
but
her
if you guys Google Mandy Mandi audition video Bachelor, you can
Gold.
find her. She's a dentist.
Hilarious.
It's amazing.
Basically, what she submitted was very like just so stoic and doing all the Bachelor cliches. But in the background, there's like a naked guy in her apartment,
On her
and she just starts
couch.
saying, she's like, "Oh yeah, this is my gorgeous." I just bought this Afghan. It's actually made of Alaskan puppy fur. And like
It was so good.
They skinned it. It was hilarious. So take 4.5 minutes and watch
She
that.
reminds me of
Did
Lucy
she get
a
a
little
rose
bit.
tonight?
Yes,
She
she
did.
did.
Okay,
She
thank
did.
God. Second to last.
Because
Second
she's,
to last,
she's
yeah.
the Ashley S of this season.
She's so confident.
Although
I think that
she has a little more of like potential.
she's
because
very
also-
funny and
Yeah.
smart.
She has a very interesting look. She obviously has a great physique.
She
She's
gave him a
attractive.
dental exam, and
Yeah.
he was like laughing at
She's
the end of it.
absolutely going to be on Paradise.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Nick's calling it early. Next up, twins. They had the package. Emily and Haley, the twins from Vegas. They're 22 years old. A little young.
I was more
Well, they're
surprised.
44 together is their combined age, so.
Very
It
mature.
seemed like half the girls had never seen twins before. when
Yeah,
walked
they
in the
were
room.
in awe.
Twins?
Like, oh
Twin?
my
What are
God.
twins? Twins?
I feel like that would be a disadvantage for them.
I mean, they're a prop.
Yeah.
They're gonna
I hope that-
tear each other apart.
Does this sound bad of me to say this? I kind of hope that they have a little bit of drama in between.
if they
themselves.
both fall in love
I
with
mean,
him.
they're cute, but they're super young.
Super young.
They're
it shows.
They're a prop.
Yeah.
I think that as sisters, you would have to separate it of like, we cannot talk about our relationship with him. Because like that could create a lot of tension, even if they both get eliminated.
I don't think
further from the
either of
show.
them are going to have much of a relationship.
Okay.
I mean,
well,
they'll-
one of them we saw
I think
in the
they'll be around
preview.
for a while.
In the preview, one of the twins was like, "Oh, I'm falling in love with him."
Yeah,
Unless
but I
that's
think they
next
say that
week.
early. I don't
Yeah.
think past week 4 or 5.
I think they'll be around for a while. I don't think realistically, and we may never know, that Ben's going to have much of an interest in
That has to be the biggest insecurity though of twins, that like if
someone's going to be one of them.
that you're not
Yeah.
the
they
better
won't
twin.
go home the same week for certain.
It's gonna be so interesting. All right, next out of the limo is Megan, M-A-E-J-N. She's 30. She's a cowgirl from Weatherford, Texas.
I mean, that was the best line of the night when she's like talking about maybe being intimidated. She's like,
yeah.
how do you beat that? You
She's
bring
like,
a fucking
twins.
mini horse. Like, that was amazing. Did she stay? Because
I don't think she did.
I don't think she stayed.
unfortunately.
No.
Ben's gonna regret having seen that tonight. Ben's gonna like, she deserves. to stay
How do you
around.
beat that?
Like,
Bringing. Yeah, that was awesome.
She'll get some time at the Women Tell All.
Oh,
She'll get a
and
couple
they
one-liners
I hope so.
She might get maybe for the spoof.
because she's memorable.
They usually don't bring night winners for the tell-alls.
This was the season where the entrances most resembled that of what was the spoof series? Will You Accept My Hose? The
Yeah, the
Burning
Love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where Jennifer Aniston comes in a panda costume
Well,
and
the show is doing a really good job every season of
making fun of themselves.
Yes, of having of a little bit of the goofiness of the show. I mean, even some of the names of their professions are, you know, just
Chicken enthusiasts. That was
yeah,
coming
just
up.
ridiculous. At and it's just like, okay, let's have some fun.
Next one was Brienne. She's 30 from Washington. She's a nutritionist. I don't
The
remember.
bread
She
girl,
brought
the gluten
bread.
girl.
break
Oh,
bread.
bread girl.
He's like, I
But like-
love bread. You don't like
when
bread.
I think
this is
of
never
breaking
gonna work
bread,
out.
like you break bread to eat, not like slam it on the ground.
Only mistake that I felt like Ben made tonight was to not take the bread and just take a giant bite.
Take a giant
And go,
bite
I
of it.
love
I love
bread.
bread.
I love gluten.
Yeah.
Did she said gluten was
Whatever it
Satan,
is,
right?
gluten.
Is the
If
devil?
the gluten's in here, I
Glu-
love
if-
it. They're-
is there
they're-
gluten in bread?
The gluten's in
Then
here?
yes.
I
Killing it.
love bread.
I love bread.
Like he should have done that.
That was good.
There-
I love bread.
There is a really funny meme that I posted on Twitter a few weeks back, and it was give up carbs over my bread body. I like that.
Next up was Isabel. She goes by Izzy. She's 24, graphic designer from Connecticut.
Wore PJs.
She wore a onesie.
She was the one that wore a onesie and said, I had to find out if you were the onesie.
If you were the onesie.
Pretty cute.
Yeah.
Huh?
I liked the onesie. I liked the girl
Yeah.
getting dressed down and still look cute.
Yeah.
I didn't like that she had to go explain to her joke to the girls. I felt that was kind of like...
Yeah, you never want to have to do that. Next was Rachel. She's 23. Came in on a hoverboard. She's from Little Rock. Her title was unemployed.
Hoverboard.
It said unemployed?
Glider.
Glider. There's so many names for those things. Yeah.
The only
it said
thing-
unemployed, and she comes in on a $500 scooter.
The only thing that would make it more memorable if the hoverboard caught on
Fire.
fire.
Because the dress catches on fire.
It said unemployed on hers?
It said unemployed, and she comes in on the most expensive entrance.
Yeah.
Unless it was one of those cheap hoverboards that's going to explode because the
I would
battery.
argue that the mini horse is far more expensive than the glider.
Potentially, unless she already owns it.
I'm almost certain she didn't.
Semantics.
I mean,
Semantics.
the whole I'm
Tomato,
gliding
tomato.
on air or whatever line she had, that was super cheesy.
Yeah.
It would have been great if it caught on fire and she's like, my love for you is burning up. I don't know.
What if she would have lit her own dress on fire while she was riding it and played on the joke of it?
It's too smart of a joke.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right, next up was Jessica. She's 23 from Boca Raton. She's an accountant.
Don't remember her.
Don't remember
They
at
had
all.
a really long hug. I remember that and thinking that she was cute, but I think she was also one of the girls that went home.
So was the long hug a negative or a positive on the long hug?
Hugs can make or break a...
Hugs can make or break.
Yeah, good hug.
If a hug is a
hugger.
triangle or a V, no way. If
If
the
you-
hug is
Pelvic's
an eye,
touch?
Pelvic's
If
touch.
you only
is
do
a
the
great
one
hug.
arm,
Yeah.
that's like
Ben did one arm hugs to a bunch of people.
Yeah,
though.
but
Really?
2-arm hugs
Yeah.
are like the big thing, and then when you kind of like grab them.
Ben
like,
did
that's
this. Like he kind of does like. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna use. He does this and like kind of puts this arm here. He doesn't
There's the
like.
hover.
That's an
hug.
awkward hug.
I think
Yeah.
for the limo entrance,
Did you see
it's
how
like,
awkward
it's-
Nick felt right there?
It's a whirlwind. I mean, like, just in general, I don't think you can judge the hugs of the limo entrance. I think after, like in the morning.
Oh, that's
Oh,
where you're
it's
dead
a
ass
hugger,
wrong.
though.
I can judge the hug
You
entrances.
can
Nick.
judge all you want, but I just don't know if it's really...
All right, next up was Tiara, the chicken enthusiast. She's 27 from Redmond, and she talked about Sheila was her one true love, her chicken.
Like, it was just so weird that
That
she had
was
the picture
so
of Ben
weird.
amongst the pictures of...
Yes.
She didn't
chicken.
talk
How did
about
she
the
get
chickens
that?
at all.
Yeah. Oh, she should have brought a chicken. Why didn't she bring one?
I don't know. It
Yeah,
was super
yeah.
weird. Like,
Yeah,
she's not-
I was over
Yeah,
it.
over it.
Next up
she'll
was.
regret that.
She likes the cock. That was
I'm sorry. Can we pause? Kathy, what was that? What was that pause?
She likes chickens.
Oh, okay, got it. Next up was Lauren LB. She's 23 from Stillwater, Oklahoma. She's a fashion buyer. I thought she was cute.
Did she go home?
I don't remember her.
LB.
Pink short dress. No, I think she stayed.
LB
Well,
was the
her name
second
is
one to get a
Lauren
rose.
B, and they're calling her LB.
Lauren. but
There's
she
so many
goes by
Lauras
LB.
and
Oh.
Lauras and
Yeah, if
There's
you
a- there's quite a few Laurens.
starts with an
Yeah.
L, you're done.
Laura, Lauren.
Yeah. Next up, and everybody loved this girl when she came out of the
Jackie.
limo. Jackie. She's 23. She's a gerontologist, I think is how you say it, from
Mm-hmm.
San Fran. I don't even know what that is, but she had such a. It was a non-alcoholic, induced. I guess she seemed overwhelmed by the moment, but was honest. Like her reaction was, "Oh my God, is that real? Like, who are you? What are we doing?"
Yeah, yeah.
And I loved it. It was
She
a
was
cool,
really excited,
Her countenance was great from the moment she stepped out.
Yeah.
I loved that. She's 23. She's a year older than the twins, but she did not
They're
seem
all
like that. to me.
really young.
Most
Well,
of them.
because
Well,
he's,
he's
26.
26.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
you knew that was going to happen. Right? They can't...
Caitlin felt like a cougar with him, is what she said.
And last but not least, out of the limos was Olivia, the news anchor from Texas, who we saw the spark with. She's 23, right from the get-go.
Great smile, great personality.
Confidence. He liked her.
But
he
I think
engaged
that
with her.
a lot of the girls are going to be intimidated by her because of their
Yeah.
immediate connection, and she got
And
the
she got
first
the first
impression
rose.
She's your
And
villain.
as a news anchor, she's going to automatically get that vibe of, oh, are you just using this as a platform to further your career?
And we
Real
Nick
or
said,
not, that they will... It'll come up.
and
Oh,
you
she
and you
definitely
just said
thought
it, Nick,
about that.
too.
You have to before you go on the show.
Absolutely. But she
Sure.
did quit her job, and she said she left on good terms. Mm-hmm. So,
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you don't... If you're... The most honest people don't go on... Like, I think all the girls went with a serious interest to meet Ben, and I think you have to go with an open mind. But if you don't go to find love, you go with the possibility of maybe you will find love, and I think that's the most honest approach.
It's different for guys and girls, as I believe that girls go in and they're in love with this guy or the idea of this guy. There's more of a likelihood of that, where most guys that go in, it's like their sisters sign them up and they have to watch the show because they've never watched it before. When
there's more. Season. Yes, there's more of falling in love with the idea of someone on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette.
And more of the guys too is what you hear season after season of, wow, I didn't expect to fall for this girl.
Yeah.
Where the girls are just like, oh, I already love this guy.
Like, I knew this.
Yeah.
Like,
Speaking of, we have 2 more girls that show up, Becca and Amber. How do you guys feel about these girls coming back for one more shot?
I mean, whatever.
If they like them, yeah, you can't really say.
I mean,
Ben hasn't.
Really, you can't be like,
I
wow,
left
that was
open.
really stupid that they came
you
back.
To be perfectly honest, and I'm not.
Please
I'll start being honest now.
Okay.
When you really think about it, it is interesting. I mean, I thought it was interesting. I mean, lucky for them that Chris Harrison immediately validated them.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to like the Chris Bukowski or me, where it's just like dun dun dun. You walk in and you have 14 guys like questioning you off the bat, as opposed to like, hey, I know you guys are super awesome, so like it's up to Ben, you know, like, so there's an immediate validation. So they're clearly not going to be. They're not there for necessarily drama, or they're not there to like be the villains. Certainly. You know, I met Becca. She's a super sweet girl. But if I was gonna like be tough on Becca and or even Amber, I suppose, would be, you know, the truth is, like, I don't know, is there a backstory? Were they talking? And my question would be, probably not. And then like, well, why not? Because I will say, in that world, it's not hard to get someone's number. Yeah. And if you really have a genuine interest in someone, you can like get their number. So like, do you really like going back on that show is not easy. It is difficult. Like, yeah. I mean, when I decided to go back on, I had a lot of anxiety.
Sure.
I got others I didn't want to go back on. So I would
how did that happen,
question.
by the way? I want to hear that.
What do you mean?
The brief story of that. Of how you went back. Did you just reach out to a producer and say, "Hey, I'm really interested in this person. We've been chatting. I want to go back on the show."
Wow.
I mean, can you give us like the short?
Yeah.
So I mean, the timing was all like what. So we truly did start talking about a month before what ended up being night 1, right? Yeah. And so it happened very organically. It wasn't like there was no like. Hey,
where'd it start? Twitter.
Yeah. Twitter. So it's funny. I messaged her early on, and I asked her, like, it was like in the middle of the season, because it was the girl who had the dead husband who had the beautiful story or whatever, and I was really kind of curious of like, you know, kind of what is glorified and what if you know, I don't want to say edit or bad edit or whatever, but you know. And I wanted to know, like, how crazy was this chick?
Sure.
And so I messaged Caitlin. Now, the reason I messaged Caitlin is because I was kind of intrigued by her. And so it was like, hey, you know, what's the story of this girl? And that was it. And then, like, she messaged me, and then I messaged her back, and then she gave me her cell phone number, and that just kind of happened, right? And then that escalated very quickly to the point where, like, oh, crap. And then, again, you know, it escalated quickly. And then by the time it was like, oh crap, we kind of like each other, like she was a bachelorette, and we certainly hadn't met, and we were in no position for her to be like, well, I'm not going to be the bachelorette because I like you, and I certainly wasn't in a position to be like, well, you shouldn't go on the bachelorette.
Yeah.
Like, it just, and so it was truthfully, like, because people were, like, some of the guys were like, well, why didn't you guys meet each other, or why didn't you meet up beforehand? There wasn't no time. You know, she lives in Vancouver, and so it was like, there was this small window long enough for us to talk a great deal amount to
before she had to go travel for press
have a genuine interest, but not long enough for that to stop. And then so once that happened, and then, you know, again, there was the 2 bachelorettes, and there was that immediate hope that, you know, quite honestly, I hope the guys picked Britt, and then they didn't. And then there were some conversations with me about Paradise, you know, and I actually wasn't that interested in doing it.
Yeah.
And then they asked me, who would you want to go on Paradise with? I'm like, I only would have gone for Caitlin. And then the conversations kind of happened after that.
Wow.
So again, my question for Becca would have been like, why didn't you reach out?
So that was another thing, is from speaking with Becca, she was approached to go on Paradise as well this last season, and she wasn't interested in any of the guys that were cast. So I think that speaks to her character, in that she clearly liked Ben.
I think she has
I don't know that she talked that much.
I think she has a genuine interest in Ben, you know, and I'm not, you know, I think she definitely is intrigued by Ben, right? But it takes a lot to go on. Having gone through it and know what it's like, it's harder to say yes to it the second time. So if I were going to be critical, and I'm sure Ian and Becca's very sweet, but it would be like, why didn't you? I mean, because I would have rather met Caitlyn and Becca had a chance to meet Ben outside of
in person. Yeah, I mean that's obviously where you would want to meet someone, not on a TV
I don't
show.
think there
But like that's
as well with Ben. There wasn't a lot of time either. I mean, like we knew that it was gonna be Ben before the season even ended. You know what I mean? So like he probably had the same
Ben
transition.
didn't know it was gonna be Ben before the season ended. So
well, not for sure, but I mean, we all had a hunch like it's gonna be Ben.
Yeah, I mean.
So I'm saying like she may have had the same challenges that you had. Like he went straight into like doing Bachelor stuff.
It's
like,
interesting.
When was the opportunity for her to meet him?
it's interesting that Amber and Becca were friends right off the bat.
Yeah.
Or sending things through the mail.
Well, let's do this. Okay, so real quick, I want you guys to go around to just tell me your top 3 predictions after tonight. Who's gonna make it to the final 3?
Final 3.
4.
How about final 4? Yeah.
Fine, final 4.
Okay, I've got JoJo,
JoJo.
Leia,
Okay.
Jackie,
Yeah.
and this is just a wild card. I hope it's Mandy.
Okay. Kathy.
I know I said Becca earlier, and I have
Yeah.
Becca over here as like this 4th, but
I had JoJo, Lauren. I can't remember which one.
H or B?
The lavender dress.
B.
Limo first.
That's B.
And Becca.
And
I can't remember names.
wild card. What'd she do? Who is she?
I don't know. Chris Harrison. I have no idea. Those are my
pony.
top 3.
All right, Nick. Top 4.
Definitely Lauren.
B.
I thought that was from what we saw, it was
the head on shoulder.
It was the most
like
comfortable. I felt Ben was. JoJo, a lot of it had to do with like what they showed in the previews.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I was probably most impressed with JoJo, and then the mother of 2.
Oh, Amber.
Amber.
What do you my top 3?
is it
What about
Amber
one-
or
what about
Amanda?
one
No,
more?
Amanda,
If you had to pick one
Amanda.
more.
Amanda.
Actually, I agree with Amanda. Yeah, that's my top 4.
I mean, I want to say Olivia, but I honestly don't think Olivia's going to go that
I
far.
was gonna say nobody's
Yeah.
gonna pick Olivia.
I think Olivia's top 6.
Yeah, I think she like.
Drama.
Yeah, but I think.
Who gets punched in the face? What was
No, that'll be
that?
fun to
No
see.
one.
No, yeah.
I guarantee we don't even.
My top 4, I go not in this order, but I think Becca makes top 4.
Yeah.
I think Amanda, 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think that JoJo, and I think Lauren V.
Those are my top.
Whoa,
You guys
those
both
are
think
la-
Becca? I didn't feel like Ben was that interested in Becca.
Because I think they don't show you the first night who he's most interested in. They show
They
you
were
who
holding
makes it
hands.
far. But on that note, that is this show. I feel like that always goes so fast. We could have talked about this for 2 more hours. I guess, Nick, here's what we have to do. You have to tell us that you're going to come back on and join us again sometime soon.
Pinky promise.
I'll come back sometime.
There we go. He said he'll come back
Alright.
That
sometime.
doesn't sound very.
I love
His
This
word
is
is
fun.
fun.
I might maybe next week.
We'll connect you with the producers, and then we'll just let the conversation organically happen.
I usually come late. to things.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us, man. You're the best. In the meantime, Brooks, where can people find you till next week?
Find me on Twitter, Brooks Forrester.
You can find.
I never know which one you're gonna give out.
I know. Well, it's just like it's too long. We
Different
don't have time
He's
tonight.
got Snapchat and Instagram too. You can find me on Twitter at Catherine Kelley and on Instagram at Cathy Kelley.
I'm on Instagram at Nick Viall, and Twitter, it's terrible. It's like Viall Nicholas 28. Like some people are like, what
See the struggle? I have to say.
In the meantime,
It
do
was
this.
before, like it was so long ago, and I was just like, it was my AOL Instagram Messenger.
Your
Oh, that's so
username.
Yeah, username.
In the meantime, guys, do this. Tweet us, include our 4 handles, and tweet us who you think your top 4 favorites are, whoever you think it is. You can find me on everything at Danny Hoyt or on Snapchat at DannyHoyt47. Thanks so much to the producers. We will see you guys next week at 11 p.m.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.